Okay guys, so I have another unboxing for you today. This one is going to be of the GameMax Iceberg 240, 240mm AIO cooler. So, you know, it's up there. Personally, I've only ever used a 120mm AIO, so this will be my first actual kind of, you know, experience is the word to use with 240 AIOs, and by the looks of the box anyway, and from what I've heard, it seems to be alright. But before I go into anything, I'd like to thank GameMax for sending me this along with the Moonstone. So far the Moonstone's been an incredible product, so I'm looking to diving into this and seeing how this is. And then eventually I'll be able to do a build in it. So, you know, not too bad. And stick around till the end because I have another thing to show you that I personally bought. It wasn't sent to me. But yeah, so there we go. Basically, I'm going to talk a bit about the product from what I can read off the box, and then I'm going to get into it. So, it's hassle-free. It's an AIO, hassle-free. You don't have to refill coolant. It's an all copper Snapchat notification. It's an all copper water block. So you know you get really good heat transfer because copper is the most conductive metal. What else? There's it has PWM fans for the radiator and a high quality water pump, so it's not going to break. So that's always good. The fans change 7 different colors, so it is RGB. Well, you know, RGB, it doesn't do any color under the sun, but it'll do basically any color you can want to be in your build, except for the really fine-tuned stuff. It has a micro-channel design, so you know, I just make the water flow around the water block a little bit better and get better heat dissipation off it. That's basically what I can see from the box. Yeah, also the fans on it seem to be kind of, you know, Thermaltake rings fans, something similar to that, which you know, is going to be cool, especially when you have it in your build and you're looking at it, like, it should be pretty cool. But yeah, so let's jump right into the box. Get my stand, mate. Okay, so getting into the box, I can tell you this is packaged the exact same as basically any other AIO cooler. But I mean, that's not a surprise. I mean, why would you package one thing differently, you know? So far I can see that the coolant tubes are not rubber, they are ribbed tubing, a bit like the Thermaltake. Now, personally I prefer the smoother tubes. Sorry, my brain's not working today. Yeah, personally I prefer the smooth tubes, but I have built a couple of systems with some of the Cooler Master Ceylon 120Vs. There we go. I have built a couple of systems with them, and they have the rib tubing. One of them was actually my personal system, and after building it, it wasn't as noticeable and it looked quite good. So I have high hopes for it. I'm not gonna let that one little thing move my review just from opening the box. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to well, you don't really need to see what comes in the box. I can take everything out. Well, it's going to stop the camera and show you face down, but it's not necessary. So I'll just take everything out. So we have our back plate. Yeah, so we have a back plate, a couple of fan extensions. They're just small little extensions. Actually, no, sorry, it's a splitter. It's a 2-to-1 splitter, which is quite nice. So you have your back plate, and then all your little stuff for Intel, and screws for your fans, and screws for the radiator to go in. And we have a manual, and it will do AM4, thank God, because I'm putting this on a Ryzen. Not sure what Ryzen yet. It's either going to be a 3 or a 5. Either way, it's going to be pretty good. Okay. Yeah, so this is just your user manual, so it'll tell you how to install the block and whatnot, and how to put in the radiator. Here are the fans. These fans are heavy, oh my god. Yeah, these are really hefty fans. Everything about them, even just the overall feel of the plastic, it feels very sturdy and high quality, I must say. We have little rubber pads right on the corner of the fan, so that's going to absorb vibrations off the radiator. That's quite nice. But it also means that if you have any, you might be able to buy these separate. I'm not entirely sure. I rarely ever buy GameMax fans because all the cases I use, most of them tend to be GameMax, but most of them come with fans anyway, or I either have fans already lying around from another case. But that yeah, if you could buy these separate, I would 100% consider these for a build. They feel nice and quality, and they're heavy, and they just look like good fans, really. And we have the second one. Nothing different about this one. It'll be the exact same. So there, and now the cooler itself can come out. So here we go. But it says maintenance free, but there is a drain plug if you wish to put your own liquid in, so that's quite nice. That's something I haven't seen from any other AIO I've used. Sorry. Yeah, that's something I haven't seen from any other AIO I've used. Now, I haven't used too many, but I would have expected it from at least one of them. So that's quite cool. You can see it just here. It's a drain plug. So if you have a personal preference as to who you're friends with, then they might not send you Snapchats during your recording a video. But what was I saying? So yeah, if you have a preference as to what liquid you like to use, if you have a certain liking for any kind of liquid, be it like just adding an anti-corrosive to your distilled water, like, you know, you're able to do that, which I think is quite a nice touch. But just from looking at the radiator looks actually pretty high quality. The FPI isn't too bad. I mean, you can't see directly through it, but you don't want to be able to. You want it to be a little bit dense just so the air can get through there and really take the heat away. But it doesn't look like it's too cluttered to the point where you're not going to get any air through it, and it's going to be really loud with all the air turbulence trying to get through that. So fans will essentially just plop on just like so. Of course, with finer detailing as to where the cables are and all that, but you know, I digress, as Jay would say. But yeah, so the tubing, I guess one of the good things about this kind of tubing is it can kind of stand itself. So it's not just constantly flying this way, that way, and the other. So it has a bit of rigidity, and this also stops it from kinking. Basically, I probably wouldn't be able to push it to the point where it would kink, which that is quite nice, because I hate when it kinks. Even a slight one that isn't going to damage your performance, it doesn't look right. So at least with this, you're going to get perfectly clean bends, and also really, you're not going to notice this when it's in a system. It's just the fact that I have two big, like 100-watt light bulbs pointing at me at the moment, so the shadows are really, really defined, and I can see every little detail on it. But yeah, you're not really going to be able to see this ridge design. And plus, Cable Mod are making extensions, sleeves for your tubes now anyway, so I'm pretty sure they could fit on this. I mean, why wouldn't they? So if needed be, if you really didn't like that, you can always pick that up. I mean, I wouldn't buy something simply for the look of it. The performance matters too, you know. And I actually have pretty high hopes for this. Well, It seems to have a similar mounting design as my my Frostflow 120 does, so that's quite nice. That was fairly easy to install. But yeah, so that's really the unboxing. I can try. I'm gonna see if I can maybe set it up so you can see the fans. I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna work out. I don't see any kind of fan to Molex here, which is a bit of a downer. But yeah, my wardrobe. Yes, that's basically for the unboxing. I'm gonna go through what you get in a little bit more detail. Maybe go through the manual a tiny bit better. Really give you a close up of these, and then we can call it a day. Okay, so getting on to the bag of accessories that you get. Really, they're just a bag of screws and a couple of other things. So we have a 2-to-1 splitter if you only have one fan header left, or your motherboard does not come with 2 CPU fan controllers, because that's usually what I like to run these fans at. You run them as my CPU, so if needs be, they'll just pump a little bit more air through the radiator. And so if I'm gaming, then you know it's getting enough air. But if I'm just sitting around on Google Chrome, I don't want it to be running full blast or running off a temperature of something else that might just happen to be really high over time. So I personally, that's my preference, but some people do otherwise. You know, I'm not telling you what to do. So here we have the Intel mounting. So we have a backplate with, oh, this is really nice. I've installed so many of these kind of systems where you put the screw in and the retention arm comes out, or you put this little retention clip on. It's so nice to see that they've actually done it for you this time. I mean, I almost want to give it a really good review simply for that I don't have to go through and, you know, put on this painstaking thing, because sometimes they're precision made for so much friction keeping it on that it's like the Hulk wouldn't be able to put them on sometimes. And then I'm guessing these go on top, other side, each side of the CPU, and then it screws on onto the water block, from what I can see. And then we have all your screws to make that magical thing happen. So yeah, so we have all our screws for our radiator. Well, for our fans to mount onto a radiator. And then we have the screws to mount the actual radiator to the case, if that's the way you're doing it. And then we have the installation. I just realised I left out the word installation. That was weird. No, we have all the installation equipment for AMD, which I believe, which is kind of nice, finally decided to use the retention bracket that comes on the AM4 motherboard, because so far no cooler, even the stock coolers don't use it. They get screwed in. So it's nice to see that they're actually using the retention arm, or the retention socket, I should say, on the AM4 platform. That's quite nice. These big meaty screws keep this on. It's quite nice, I must say. Okay, so moving on from all the goodies that you get in the bag as far as hardware goes, now let's look at kind of the manual and just see what it's like. So it basically just shows you how to install the fans onto the radiator, how to install the water block on, or how to install thermal paste. It's nice to know, just in case you genuinely don't know how to install thermal paste. Be a nice close up of these fans. These fans are actually quite nice. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it has this quite nice texture to the plastic. It's not smooth, but it is. It doesn't feel like normal plastic. It almost feels like it has like a really matte finish, or maybe a satin finish. Then here we have the those rubber pads again. As you can see this kind of frosted ring around the blades. That is where the LED is. The LED is in there somewhere, hiding, waiting for you to go to sleep so it can light up and wake you up. But yeah, that's basically a look at the fans. Second one is, as you would imagine, the exact same. Put these down here. And now I have to get this cooler itself. So here you can get a slightly better look at the refill port, but it does say warranty voided when removed. The pump itself takes a single 3-pin PWM, and as you can see there is an LED on the water block itself, and it also has 2 quite nice chrome rings on it, which I think looks quite nice. Funnily enough, I have a moonstone for this build, for the build I'm going to be doing with this, and the front AIO and that also have a similar ring around the ports. So I thought that was just kind of funny. Yeah, that looks quite nice. But from what I can see on the box, this LED stays green. And at the moment, if you haven't seen it, my build is black and red. So I believe I'm going to have to pick up a new motherboard, because not only does my motherboard have tiny red accents on it, only I'd notice it really, but it has red LEDs on the back of the board. I'm using the Beat 350 Tomahawk by MSI. So I'm probably going to have to do... Well, I apologise for the crappy lighting, but I am going to show you what the fans are like. Now, if I can... There we go. Now all the lights will turn off. So here's what I just wanted to show you. Hopefully I won't put my camera down too low, because my address is like right down there. Right down there somewhere. You can just about see the sticker. So, take my Stanley knife. I am doing this with one hand, holding a camera with one hand. Got my Stanley in the other. Okay, so with the box just about open now, take out what is an FM2 Plus motherboard. I know FM2 Plus, it's so old now, but I had a CPU lying around, so I thought I'd use it for a build. And in that we have a AeroCool GS240, which should be nice. It's a small little micro ATX windowed PC case. Should be nice for this. Nothing fancy in it really. Just an APU, a really low power APU, and probably a really cheap power supply. I think I have one in an old DDR2 system somewhere. So yeah, that should work out perfectly fine. I mean, it'll take a 240 radiator, as you can just about see there. Yeah, it should be quite nice. Looking forward to it. Just thought I'd show this off at the end of this video, just to let you know what's coming next. Yeah, that's basically it. So don't know if I said it before, but don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.